Okay.
Welcome to Fit for Halter, where we dig into real stories and strategies behind the halter horse world. So, in this episode, we're diving into one of the most exciting and intense seasons for halter breeders and trainers, preparing babies for the fall futurities. Joining me is Kathy Smallwood, owner of Kathy Smallwood Quarter Horses, a respected breeder and trainer known for producing top quality halter babies that shine in the halter pen. So, we're talking about day to day prep, how to build confidence in young prospects, and what it takes to stand out in the pen. The other key thing that we're going to cover today is how to peak for the fall shows. So whether you're raising your first halter baby or planning your calendar for next year, this episode is full of advice for you that you're going to really enjoy. So Kathy, thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Amy, for having me on your Fit for Halter podcast. It's something that I think should be very valuable to all the people out there that are halter enthusiasts.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Just honored to sit across from you today and learn more about you, learn with you, and learn from you. So let's just start by hearing about your breeding program and how it's evolved over the years.
My breeding program actually started when I was actually a very young girl. That sounds funny, but my dad, I grew up with a father that loved horses and had mares, had a stallion or two, and we had horses all the time. We lived in Minnesota, and he would drive down to Oklahoma and Texas. And I'm talking, this is in the late 50s, early 60s, as in 1950 or 1960s. So he brought back several mares, and one of the mares, and I was really, really young. I think I might have been 7 or 8. He registered her in my name, and I became a breeder. And I had several babies out of that mare. So here I
Uh,
was, a real young girl. I showed some of those in 4-H, some at
mm-hmm,
the open shows, some at the quarter shows, and one turned out to be really extra special. And he
mm-hmm.
followed me through my college years, and so that's how I started. And then it just kept evolving, where I would work for some people that were breeders, and
Mm-hmm.
so I had a lot of babies to fit for them. And then I went on to work for MBJ Quarter Horses, and they had a stallion, Mr. Impressive. And so that
Mm-hmm.
was, I was around a lot of really, really nice babies then. I mean, my jaw would drop looking at how gorgeous they were.
Yeah.
And so then when we moved to Texas, I was fortunate to be able to get a really good broodmare, and from a client of mine, which I bought on
Mm-hmm.
time payments, taking it off of what their bill would be every month for their training
Uh-huh.
horses. Bought her,
Uh-huh.
and she was responsible for getting me to be able to have the stud Rachel Mister, who we stood at stud for several years, and
Mm-hmm.
Valentino. And
Oh.
so that's kind of how I started with the breeding part. And then
Mm-hmm.
really, the last, I'm going to say 20 years is when I've fit more into the breeding aspect, and
Okay.
doing a lot of that. And of
Wow.
course, now I've evolved into having a stallion that I help manage,
Uh-huh.
and that is the horse Invincible.
Uh-huh.
And he stands over at High Point Quarter Horses, which
Okay.
is basically across the street from me, which is, I'm really lucky at that. And he's under the supervision, and stallion manager is Christy Christensen, who's just the best. And so I've gotten into doing a little bit with now the stallion again, but in a different aspect. He's not at my house. I just help with publicizing and
Uh-huh.
promoting him.
Uh-huh.
And now the same client, June Ray, she just bought another stallion that will be standing over there. That horse's name is Quinlan, and so he will be moving there in the near future to stand. So we're going to have two stallions, so that's going to be really exciting. So we'll
That's
see
fantastic.
how it goes from there. But I did that, and then I've got these mares, and I've had just a few mares of my own. I've always had clients that have wanted to, keep horses with me. So I've kept brood mares here, and I've been able to try to figure out which mare crosses which stud, whether
Mm.
it be one that I have or whether it be something that somebody else has that is a better fit.
Mhm.
We all know that it's a tough thing and that to match them up to get perfect, because literally there's not a perfect horse. We try to get and aim as much as we can for perfection. So that's kind of how I've started with all of that, and it's exciting. All the babies are here, and now I'm already trying to figure out which mares are going to go to what stallion next year, whether it be the horses that are going to stay here and breed to one of those two stallions or breed out to someone else, because I want the best fit to try to work and get as close to perfection as we can. So
Mm.
that's kind of it in a nutshell.
I love hearing the trajectory of your career, and then the longstanding impact that you've had on the industry. You mentioned uh, pairing your stallions and your mares. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? When you think about um, trying to produce a baby that's going to be ready, or a candidate for fall futurities, and the level of competition that is present at those. So when you're thinking about the breeding pair that you mentioned, is there anything different that you consider if you're trying to shoot for fall futurities with a baby, or if you are looking at, maybe a different trajectory for a foal? Is there anything that you're looking for specifically in those mares and stallions?
Well, when I look at a mare and I look at the
Mm-hmm.
stud, I want to try to get what's going to be the most compatible for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and try to make the fit that I think will work. Now, we all know we can sit there and think, okay, so this this one has a long neck, this one has a short neck. Oh, I'll breed it and I'll get a nice medium neck. Well, that doesn't always happen. In fact, even when I was a child, going back to when I was young
Uh-huh.
and I had the
Yeah.
mare that my dad had brought up, JoJo Parks, I we had four babies out of that mare, all by the horse Joack Sugar Bars. Now she was by Little Wimpy by Wimpy P1. So that's old time confirmation as far as, I mean, she came from Roy Parks, who had been AQHA president, and he had all those Wimpy P1 type horses, the old look.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And my dad said, well, I want to modernize them a little bit. And the horse, Joack Sugar Bars, was standing in Minnesota. And that horse, of course, Joack, those were race horses. And so he bred her those four times. Okay, one was one you just went, oh, you're nice, baby. But, I hope you just have a great personality because you're not going to make a show horse. But, it was like, okay, so I love you anyway. And then the next one was like, okay, for 4-H, this is going to be great. This is a nice little mare. She's a little bit like her mom, has a little bit of more of a, streamlined presence about her. The third one, he just looked like a chunk. And I don't know where that came from. And
Mm-hmm.
then the fourth one, he got the best of both of them. And I thought,
Mm.
bingo, it finally worked. It took 4 times to get what we really thought was going to be the best cross between those two.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned then, full brothers and sisters don't look alike for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's when I'm looking at a horse, let's say I have a mare, and I'm going, okay, I'd like to breed her for something for early futurity baby. The main thing I'm looking for is trying compatibility as far as trying to get the best out of both. But my main concern is going to be is the confirmation on both of these what needs to be to try to put together my best horse. And confirmation, of course, is the ultimate. We have to have great
Mhm.
confirmation. We have to have
Mhm.
balance.
Mhm.
We have to have structure. We have to have some muscling involved. We have to have breed characteristics. We have to have all of those. So when a person's out trying to figure out what they want, you look at your horse, your mare. Let's say your mare might have, oh, she's a little bit crooked in that one front right foot. But she's my mare. I love her. I really would like to keep her. I would need to find something. So when you're looking at the stallions, you might keep that in mind. Okay, that mare has a little bit of crookedness in that front. I need to find a horse that those legs are perfect in front so that I can get as close to perfect as possible.
Mhm.
And so it's just trying to fit your horse together. Of course, when I'm looking for when I'm breeding for a futurity horse, I also want to have some charisma. I mean,
Mm.
charisma. When that baby walks into that pen, the first thing that judge sees is that charisma coming at you. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
looking at the legs, they're looking at everything, but they want that baby have that eye appeal, that wow factor. So I
Mhm.
will look at that too. If I have a mare that's a little plain, I may want to go to a stallion that has that wow factor more. Maybe a little prettier headed. Maybe that has just maybe a little longer neck, a little prettier over the back, and just try to fit them together. And it's like I say, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work at all. But that's the breeding business, and that's why it's fun. 11 months later, you go out there and you go, "Oh, she's gonna foal," and you're hoping, you're really hoping your hopes are going to be special. And we
Uh-huh.
should love them all because we're breeders, and we should love them all. So it's but the main thing to do is just to try to get take away faults for
Mm.
one thing,
Okay.
and be very don't be barn blind. I mean,
Mm.
where they're not all perfect. There's very few perfect horses. In fact, there's not a perfect horse. But don't be barn blind and say, "Oh yeah, well that's not going to mean anything because it's got that crooked foot." Go and try to change it.
Mhm.
Try to change it by pairing her up with a stallion that is very correct.
Mhm.
I also think people need to go look at these stallions
Mm.
if they can to go see what they're really pairing their mare up with.
Mhm.
That's the problem that we've had now with the ship semen and everything else that we do. A lot of people don't ever even see the stallions. They may have seen pictures of it. They may
Mhm.
have seen them in the show pen, but they don't see them what they really look like that day. I really encourage people to go look at the stallions that they're breeding their mares to.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's helpful wisdom. And I think too, for somebody maybe who doesn't have an opportunity to breed, you've just given us a perspective of all the work and thought and preparation and really intentionality that goes into one baby, let
Yeah,
alone all the babies that are in the pen at the same time. Yeah, there's a lot of time and investment that's gone into starting now who you're planning for next year. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. It's
So,
it's
yeah,
it's
go
a
ahead.
hard, it's a long process. It's a
Mhm.
long process, and it's an
Yeah.
expensive process. So that's why I think, if a person has time, maybe they live 3 states away, get in your car, say, "Hey, I'm going for the weekend for a quick road trip." Go take a look at that horse. I really do encourage that.
Mhm. My husband and I did that somewhat recently, and it was eye-opening to see the stallions in person because we were one of those people, like you mentioned, that have only seen stallions in pictures, and we weren't looking for breeding purposes, but for purchasing a baby. And um, it was quite an honor to see the stallions in person, in their everyday wear. not necessarily fit for show, fit for breeding season, but not,
Right.
just that's a very real experience to um, learn to appreciate the stallion side of the operation. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So, in shifting to working with babies,
Mhm.
talk to us about how early you start working with your babies and maybe some of the core practices that you have very early on.
Well, I start actually thinking about showing the babies when they actually are bred. And
Okay.
that sounds funny, but that's basically when I start.
Mhm.
And of course, what I want to do, I want to make sure that those mares, they get their vaccinations, they have good nutrition, they're wormed on a regular basis, and their feet are taken care of. We need to
Mhm.
take care of the mares if we expect these babies to be good, healthy babies when they hit the ground. Then,
Mhm.
when they hit the ground, I want those babies, I start with them the day they're born. We give them, there's a full product that Full Bucket makes. Comes in a green tube, and you need to give that to them the day they're born. And then I follow up with the Full Bucket full probiotic for around 7 days. Some of them
Okay.
even longer. If they get diarrhea at all, I'll keep with it. So that's something that we're starting those babies out right away. And
Mhm.
then as we're getting the babies ready, or they're foaled, we make sure that their feet are trimmed every 3 to 4 weeks. And those babies are getting broke at that period of time. So they're already starting to be handled. We put a halter on those babies when they're a day or 2 days old. And I lead my mares to the pastures. And so we lead the babies right away. And babies follow the mares. They learn to lead without a lot of having to jerk on their necks or anything.
Mhm.
You've got
Mhm.
your hand, your arm around their neck, and you're leading
Mhm.
them at the same time. And those
Mhm.
babies, it gets so they love to go out there and they have some time with their human person and leading them to the pasture. So
Mhm.
that's part of it. And then of course we fit these babies, start fitting on them from the inside out. We're going to fit on them by their type of food they're getting, the feed they're
Mhm.
getting.
Mhm.
Um, the mare gets a good balanced ration of a mare, feed.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's two that in particularly that I like, but any of them that are good quality feeds that are for mares and babies, they'll they'll work well for you.
Mhm.
And then I make sure that these babies they get wormed when they're only 3 to 4 weeks old. So we're already fitting on them. I'm
Mhm.
getting ready already then.
Mhm.
Um, we continue to do that. They may need some vitamins. Let's say they get some leg issues. So on the leg issues, you go, okay, he's bouncing on his knee. He's maybe a little bit upright on his back ankles. Has a little fasciitis in those back ankles. I need to do something now. So you need to just back off the feed a little bit. Maybe add something. One product, I probably shouldn't be doing product placement, but one of the products that I really like is the DAC CMZ paste. It
Mhm.
works well for these babies that are growing too fast. So we're
Mhm.
actually, as we're getting back to this, I'm fitting on these babies basically
Mhm.
from the day they're conceived
Sure. Yeah.
all the way through. And I don't like to do a lot of change on these. I like a lot of consistency.
Mhm.
I like the babies to get out every day if possible. Fortunately, I've got a nice indoor where I can get them out if the weather's bad. I know it's tough on a lot of people because, especially, I used to live up north, so I know how hard it is up north. Remember how cold it was up north.
Yes. Yeah.
And the only time that I don't get that here very often. It's not nearly that cold here. but we have the heat in the summer, so we get a
Sure.
little hotter than a lot of you in the summer. In fact, right now it's just starting to heat up. So I start fitting on them actually from the day they're conceived,
Mm.
and that might
Mhm.
seem kind of funny, but I do I fit them from the inside out.
Mm.
Make sure that they have anything that they should have during that period of time.
Mhm. It reminds me of, I think, um, I feel like I have a little bit of liberty to say this because I had a conversation with Gary Magdesian,
Uh-huh.
a previous episode, and I think it was him who was talking about um, I might totally be misquoting him, but we were discussing in utero, the impact of the mare care while she's pregnant, um, and the
Right.
influence that that can have on your foal, as it's, in its earlier days of life, and how you're setting up that baby for success down the road, even while it's in utero. I can't remember.
Yes.
Please forgive me, Gary, if you're listening, and I just said something about you that is not what we discussed. But um, I remember hearing that from somebody, and I, again, I just value um, the intentionality. We're a small and mighty niche in the horse industry, right? And when we go
Right.
to a show, um, especially some of the larger futurities, we're going to see your babies there. And to know that all of this time and investment and thought has gone into it,
Right.
now we have something to look at and say, okay, that's what that looks like. The investment that you've made, here is the product in the pen. That's kind
Right.
of cool.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and another thing,
mhm, yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
another thing that I have to let people know too is it
Hmm.
doesn't mean just the mare that is the real mare, the real mother.
Hmm. Hmm.
But even when I do a lot of ICSIs and we do a
Okay.
lot of embryo transfers, even those recipient mares are going to get the same nutrition because they're
Mm.
carrying a very valuable baby. They're going to get the same, foot care and everything else to get those babies on the ground because those mares are very valuable.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Um, Thank you for sharing that. That's super helpful, I think, um, just to understand all the work that's gone into the babies that we see in the pen. That, yeah, it's coming soon. The fall futurities are coming
Yeah.
soon. So, in
Yes.
light of what's coming soon, what are some of the maybe key benchmarks that you're looking for from your babies, um, 30, 60, 90 days into your fitting process, that you want to see them accomplish before you feel like they are absolutely ready to go to a show?
Well, I start looking at their legs and
Mhm.
all their top lines and everything when they're still on the mare.
Mhm.
And if see anything like a bobble on the legs or anything like that, we try to take care of that. So when they're 30 days old on the mare, I want to see a baby that's legs are starting to come underneath it. And I've had people, there's a friend of mine, she calls me and she had a baby and she goes, "Oh my gosh, the legs look terrible." I said, "It's a week old." I said, "You have to let the
Mhm.
baby get under it gets its legs
Yeah.
underneath it." All babies
Mhm.
go through that. Just like a gangly kid. All their
Yeah.
legs are not going to be 100%. But by 30 days, you should be able to see them kind of get a lot of strength,
Mhm.
coming into their own. They should have, some no potty belly look, not any rib showing. Want to
Mhm.
start having a little cover over their top. And of course, by then we're leading them, and they're
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
learning a lot. And 60 days, I'm thinking about, okay, is this one going to make it for the fraternities this year? Or is this a
Mhm.
baby that maybe we should just kick out, not kick out, I hate that terminology and I don't know why I used it, but turn it out
Mhm.
more
Mhm.
and slow down on it.
Sure.
And by then, by 60 days, you should kind of see if that baby is going to probably become a fraternity baby.
Mhm.
Maybe it's growing, level, all the things that we need when we get to the
Mhm.
fraternities.
Mhm.
Um, I wean my babies anywhere from, I try to not wean them any earlier than 3.5 months,
Mhm.
and anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 months.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I should have a good handle on, do I send in my entries?
Mm.
There are those that will surprise you, and you know, don't give up on them, especially if you're at home out there and you've got one baby and you go, oh, but it didn't really look that good at 60 days. Okay, don't give up on it. Keep working it. If you have 20 babies, then it's a little different deal and you can kind of sift through them a little bit more.
Sure.
So don't worry about it. I don't want everybody going, oh no, mine looks terrible at 60 days. I'm done. No, don't give up on them. There are diamonds in the rough that do come, but I do like to have to see little growth, where they look like they're going to go ahead and make it for the fraternities by
Mhm.
the time that I wean them. And when I wean them, I'm going to be very careful with any fast growth
Mm.
and putting too much weight on them. I
Mhm.
think that there used to be, and I think this changed quite a bit, a misconception that fat was better than fit. And I feel that it's the opposite. We need animals that are fit, not just fat.
Mhm.
So um, they're all going to go through stages. I mean, I have babies that all of a sudden will kind of drop off a little bit of weight. And you go, okay, um, maybe they just got weaned. Maybe they um, are not feeling well. That's another thing I was
Mhm.
going to bring up. I do take the temperatures on my babies twice a day from the time they're born. And we do regular spot checks as far as taking blood anytime there's
Uh-huh.
something that looks off,
Uh-huh.
or I feel like, okay, I haven't checked this one for a while. I have a great veterinarian clinic here. We'll do
Mhm.
that and we'll have them come in ultrasound or scan the lungs to look for
Mhm.
anything
Mhm.
that will cause the baby to not be able to make it to the fraternities.
Mhm.
And they can go downhill so fast. So,
Mhm.
my recommendation to people is to get to know your babies. If they all of a sudden have gone off some feed, don't necessarily think that they're going to die on you or whatever, but keep in mind what that temp was that day. Is that
Mhm.
baby coughing? Does it have
Mhm.
diarrhea? Does its hair start to look like it's what I call turned inside out? Maybe a little bit rough hair coat.
Mhm.
All of those, because there's actually some viruses that even you can take their temperatures and their temperatures are fine, but they still
Mm.
have a problem. So if there's any need for a vet, call them before that goes downhill too fast because
Mhm.
these babies are fragile. They really
Mhm.
are.
Mhm.
And so I recommend having a good rapport with your veterinarian. And maybe if you're an amateur doing this on your own, reach out to somebody that's in your area if
Mhm.
there's a professional around there, or even just a friend, another amateur friend. Say, hey, you saw my baby last week. I think there's something wrong with it. You want to come over and take a look and see if you can see anything different? But just keep in mind that we need to try to keep them healthy. That's our
Mhm.
main thing on raising babies. It's our
Mhm.
responsibility to try to look out after the health, the welfare of these babies.
Mhm. Yeah. It's good wisdom. Thank you. So, when you're getting close to the futurity,
Mhm.
You've selected your show string. What are the kinds of things that are happening with your babies in the weeks leading up to the futurity? So we've gotten past the 30, 60, 90-day marks, and now we're closing in on show is coming. What kinds of activities are you conducting with the babies?
This is when I'm going to get into the big word of consistency,
Mm.
because you want to have everything consistent with them. Your feed time, you want that to
Mhm.
be on time or close to on
Mhm.
time. You
Mhm.
want to be able to work them on a work schedule. When we're starting our babies, we will get them out, and they already lead, the ones that are born
Mhm.
here. The ones that
Mhm.
aren't born here and come in, I'm hoping that they somewhat lead. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, and
Mhm.
that's fine. I mean, a lot of people don't have the time or the expertise
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
teach them how to lead, and that's what we're here
Mhm.
for. But the ones that are here, I teach them to lead, and so when that's over with, so they wean, and I'll give them usually a day or two to just be go into the stall, make buddies with them. And usually that first day, those babies are mad, and they're not going to be real happy.
Mhm.
Usually by the second or third day, they're kind of like, hey, you know what? It'd be kind of nice to have a buddy. And I'll go in there and take just a towel with me, not even a brush, a towel, and just rub a towel
Mm.
all over them and put my arm around their neck, get them to like you. So then after they've kind of taken the weaning, 2 days, I want to get them out,
Mhm.
and I'll take them out and we hand walk them. We just hand walk them all over the place and just try to make sure that you're not on, they are on good ground. Don't take them over a
Mhm.
bunch of rocks or
Mhm.
anything like that, but take them out, walk them around in a safe place, probably in a pen, because if they get loose, you don't
Right.
want to be chasing after them down the highway.
Mhm.
So, I get them out, we walk them, and they get to learn the word whoa really well.
Mhm. Mhm.
And every time you go to stop, you say whoa at the exact same time that you ask them to whoa.
Mhm.
Not after, because then they're not gonna know what to associate that with.
Mhm.
And I find more people they'll jerk on them and then say whoa, and I'm going, okay, they're not gonna learn what that word is if you don't say it at the same time when you're asking. So I teach them that. We walk them around, and then we take a step backwards. And if they'll take a step backwards real good, we reward them. They'll come forward, reward them. And we get them to going back and forth. So there's
Mhm.
three things they need to learn right away. The word wall, they need to learn how to come forward, and they know how to go
Mhm.
backwards,
Mhm.
because that's your basics for getting them to teach them how to set up.
Mhm.
And during this time after they've been weaned, I like to give them some turnout time.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not saying turn them out in a big pasture and with a bunch of mares, but if you have a small place with either one or two babies or by yourself, I
Mhm.
prefer myself, if they're the ones that are going to go to the show, to actually be turned out probably by themselves, maybe in a pen that's next to another one. Um, and just get them some turnout time. Still continue your hand walking. And then we do a lot of fitting on them with our golf cart.
Mm. Mhm.
And I do it with two people. It's if you have two people, it is safer.
Mhm.
And what we do, the guy that works for me, I usually drive, and the guy that works for me, he'll just walk beside the golf cart with the baby as I'm moving.
Mhm.
Pretty
Mhm.
soon, he just kind of steps onto the back of the golf cart. 9 times out of 10, after you've got that baby, so it's going to walk and go backwards, forward, knows what the word whoa is and what a cluck means to go
Mhm.
forward, they
Mhm.
usually are pretty good about going on that golf cart.
Mhm.
There's a few times we've had to put like a little rope around the back end of them and, tug on them just a little bit, but they like the golf cart.
Mhm.
Um, when I'm fitting these babies, getting them ready like this, I don't like to over exercise them.
Mhm.
And I'm going to stress that a lot because I see people that will have babies out there. They'll have them on a golf cart for 10, 12 minutes. That's too long on a baby's legs. That's just too long. We'll start out 2, 3 minutes and maybe get up to about 6 minutes. And I like to have it on consistent ground.
Mhm.
So if you have a place at home, even if it's a pasture, but it's a consistency instead of like hard rock here or whatever, try to
Mhm.
find a place that's nice and soft and not I don't like the real deep sand for babies. I think
Mhm.
it's hard on their legs. So we try to get them fit on the golf cart. We also teach them how to lunge because when you get to the BHF or one of those shows, you may not have time to get over there with your golf cart to get them on there, or you may not have a golf cart. So they better learn how to lunge.
Mm.
And so we teach them how to lunge. I do not pony with a horse just because I don't
Mhm.
have that
Sure.
type of facility that has the
Mhm.
horses I used to ride and showed, you know, pleasure horses and everything, but I don't ride anymore. I think the ponying off the horse is excellent.
Mhm.
I think it actually kind of teaches the baby a little bit of manners also. So
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to that. I think it's a great thing to do. It just doesn't fit into our program right now.
Mhm.
But then I liked it to be able to maybe turn the baby, say, I've worked it 3 days and they've had it 3, 4 minutes every day. I
Mhm.
might turn it out for a little bit. I
Mhm.
want to make sure that it's not going to just go out there and race around. If that happens, that's probably not totally good for them.
Mhm.
But it's good to give them some downtime.
Mhm.
And I do not like to tie my babies right away. We
Mhm.
go through a procedure where I have the tie rings in the stalls.
Mhm.
And even if you don't have that, you have either bars or you have wire or whatever at what your stall fronts are. And when I'm brushing the baby, I just take that rope, loop it through there, and I hold the rope as I'm getting the baby ready.
Mhm.
After I've done a lot of that, then I'll go ahead and tie a baby. But I'm pretty takes me a while before I'll hard tie a baby. I'm just they're fragile. They
Mhm.
can pull back.
Mhm.
They can get
Mhm.
hurt pretty easy.
Mhm.
So I am pretty not lenient with that kind of thing.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, but the babies, they get groomed before they go out. We brush them off. If we have time, we'll vacuum them. If we don't have time at that grooming, we'll groom them in the afternoon, and
Mhm.
that will have consist of the rubber curry, um, the vacuum cleaner, taking a brush. I like to finish off with that healthy hair coat conditioner,
Mhm. Mhm.
spraying them with it. And that's a good time for those babies to learn about sprays. I've seen at the fraternity so many babies, they're trying to fly spray them. And I'm going, oh, it's got to be the first time of being fly sprayed.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have the healthy hair, at least
Uh,
get a water bottle and start spraying them if you
something.
don't want to use
Yeah.
too much fly spray because it's that makeup arena at Fort Worth and also at the BHF. When you've got 50 babies out there, there's not a lot of room for somebody to get pretty fractious. So you need
That's
to
true.
kind of get them broke for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, I take the mains and put that healthy hair coat on, and they're let down. I don't tie these babies for very long, and I do not sweat their necks until maybe way towards the fraternity.
Mhm.
I just think you're going to take too much off of a baby, especially in this heat.
Mm. Okay. So in the um couple of things that you just mentioned that you wait until right before um, the sweating and then tying. Um, what's a realistic time frame for those?
Well, the tying, I mean, after I've been holding them with
Mhm.
that rope
Mhm.
and stuff, and each baby's an individual.
Sure.
Some of them you might
Sure.
think,
Mhm.
oh, okay, this one's really laid back. I'm going to go ahead
Yeah.
and tie. And I use, and this is going to be another product placement. I use the Kellerman rubber ties, and
Yes.
they're
They're
great.
wonderful.
And
Uh-huh.
they're great ties and they're great people, but
Yes.
I use those and I make sure that they're at the right height so
Mm.
that the baby can't get its neck turned around. You've probably seen some tied to the wall, and all of a sudden this baby's turned around looking the other way. And I'm
Mhm.
going, oh no, its neck. What's it going to
Mhm.
do to its neck?
Mhm.
So make sure that the ties are at a good length where they're not too long and they're not too short. You're not stretching
Mhm.
their necks either.
Mhm.
But most of those babies, I'm going to say probably 5, 6 days after doing that, you can
Mhm.
tie them. But I don't like to
Okay.
leave them very long.
Sure.
Like I don't tie a baby up and say, "Oh, I'll let it down after I come back from lunch."
Mhm.
And I never leave one tied during lunchtime.
Mhm. Mhm.
I always make sure that somebody's around.
Yeah. And then the sweating, is that something that you is it 30 days before you go, 2 weeks before you
Yeah,
go?
probably 30 days before. Down here it
Okay.
gets really hot, so we don't really
Mhm.
sweat them that much. My older horses can handle it, but
Mhm.
these babies, it's
Mhm.
tough on them in this heat.
Mhm. Mhm.
Up north you might be able to do more of it. We're lucky. I mean, I've got a laser, so we do a
Mm.
lot of laser work on the babies' necks.
Mhm.
It's also the laser's very good for any um, swellings or any sorenesses. It'll help take
Mhm.
that out. But the laser does help slim the necks down also.
Okay. Okay.
So you can do all that. And by the time they're weaned, I start usually giving them a few more supplements,
Okay.
um, like a vitamin supplement.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be vitamin E. Vitamin
Mhm.
E is a very good one for the halter horses because so many of our halter horses have, some of them might be PSSM, some of them
Mhm.
might be HYPP. And the vitamin E is very important for muscle on an animal. And so I do do supplement it with vitamin E. They may
Mhm.
get something to keep their appetite up,
Mhm.
like a vitazorbine or megacell or something like that to just
Mhm.
keep their appetite going.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm really big on gut.
Mm.
I want a happy, happy gut.
Mhm.
And when they're weaned, another thing I do when I wean them, I will give them all ulcer guard for a week
Mm.
after I wean them. They get the full bucket probias and the ulcer guard for a full week after they're weaned.
Mhm.
And if they're still pretty fretful, I'll probably even extend it longer.
Mhm.
But I think that helps their gut. Um, I use another product called Nutrient Buffer, which
Mhm.
is just a creamy product that helps the stomach, kind of lines the stomach. I'm really big on the gut thing.
Mm.
You've got to have that healthy, and you've got to keep
Mhm.
those babies happy.
Mhm.
If they get ulcers, they're gonna not be happy campers.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is very important to do.
Okay. Um, what are some of your must-haves when you take a baby to their first show? Maybe products or tools that you bring? What kinds of things are on your must-take list?
Well, I pretty much bring the kitchen sink. Everything.
Everything. Okay.
I mean, you open my trailer door when I get there, and it's like, okay, how many more things could you even put in here?
So it's
No,
really
I
what
try
you
to,
don't bring. The short list is what
yeah,
you don't bring. The long
yeah,
list is what goes in the
ex
trailer. Okay. Okay, that's fair.
exactly. No, I always want to make sure that I'm gonna always have all the hammers and tools
Mhm.
like that that
Mhm.
you need because you don't know what you're gonna get to a show and find in your, let's say you show up in the middle of the night and there's nobody there and there's big nails hanging in a stall
Mhm.
and you go, I
Mhm.
can't put my baby in there. I mean, that's the
Right.
first thing I do when I get it to a show is inspect the stall. And if it's a
Mhm.
wooden stall like the old stalls at
Mhm.
Iowa, and I've
Mhm.
had the same ones, and I guess this year we're moving out of that barn. But it's funny because my little eye hooks have been there the last 4 years that we put in on all of those. And but then there's usually a few nails that have to take
Mhm.
out. So make sure you have all that. Now on the baby part, you want to make sure that you have anything like if the baby gets sick on the way there, you want to have a a box of
Mhm.
something to medicate that baby with in case
Mhm.
you get sick.
Mhm.
One thing that I would say you need to always keep with you some Banamine if you're not comfortable in giving a shot, because that needs to be IV. You can also put the Banamine in the mouth, or you could get Banamine paste. Um, it's very important because if you're hauling down the road, you're 5 hours away from the show, and this baby is colicky, and you can't figure out who to get for a vet or anything. At least you can get some Banamine in it to get it to a destination somewhere else. So people need to make sure that they think about the baby on that. You want to make sure that there's um, something to keep the baby hydrated,
Mhm.
maybe electrolytes.
Mhm.
Um, something that they're used to, and make sure that they're used to watch their water consumption. So
Mhm.
you may want to take something with you when you get to a new place. The water may taste horrible to them.
Mhm.
You may try at home putting a little bit of something in the water that you can take to the show to change to keep that same taste going. I always take with me, health wise, some kind of like BioSponge is a great product in case they get diarrhea. That can happen
Mm.
to you on the road. Once
Mhm.
you get to the show, yeah, there's usually a show vet, but it's good to have those kind of products.
Mhm.
The babies, when they go on the trailer, are going to always have the full bucket probiotics in their stomachs. They're going to have the ulcer guard in their stomachs. Um, that's just something I do.
Mhm.
Something that I do when I'm hauling them, I use earplugs.
Mm.
The babies
Okay.
get into the trailers, and a big semi comes driving by them. The noise factor,
Mhm.
try the earplugs at home. Make sure that you take them off when you get to the show. Don't leave them in because they can cause problems inside the ear.
Mhm.
But I do use the earplugs, so that's something I
Okay.
pack. I pack, make sure that you've got more than one halter
Mm.
because what if one breaks? So make sure you have a spare halter.
Mhm.
Um, make sure that you've got all your stuff that you need to show with your show halter, your show halter silver polish. Don't
Mhm.
go into the show pen with a dirty halter. Polish it. They cost a lot of money, so they need to be
Mhm.
polished.
Yeah.
um, I make sure that I have plenty of towels. Towels are my number one thing that I use all the time. I mean, I towel these babies down all the time with that they love to be rubbed. And I use
Mm.
a lot of towels. So make sure you have your towels. Make sure you have the right feed that you enough of it to get you
Mhm.
through the horse show.
Mhm.
And if you have room to take your own hay, I recommend that also because hay can change from one facility to the next.
Mhm.
So make sure you have all your feed. Um, a little medicine bag. You might want to go to your vet and say, "Hey, what do you feel that would be safe for me to take so that if I run into a problem with this baby?" Those are the main things. Make sure that you've got your oh, scissors, anything like that. Any of those little, like so I say, I take the kitchen sink.
I like it. You're going to be ready for anything. I've never heard of the earplugs in the trailer for a baby, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's it's really helped us. I think
Mhm.
the babies are a little bit quieter.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't just put them in that morning when you put them in the
Sure.
trailer. Try them at home.
Test it out.
Try them at home.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. That in conjunction with the preparation for the vet, I would imagine um, by the time you get to where you're going, your baby, you're just setting it up for success, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. So you've hauled the baby to the show. Talk to us about
Hmm.
maybe some of the things that you've done to prepare the baby to show. For example, some of our futurity classes last a very long time.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about the setting up process and then the setting up and standing for a long amount of time. Talk to us about those, both of those aspects, the setting up and then that long class.
Okay. So setting up, we
Mhm.
practice with them every day when we take them out.
Mhm.
I don't practice with them for like, you don't have to go out there for an hour, but
Mhm.
practice with them as when you first take them out before they go on to that. Like with me, I use a golf cart.
Mhm.
We set them up and we set them up, stand there with them, maybe 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Then I also have somebody, I'm lucky because I have good help. So I have
Mhm.
a helper with me, and I'll have that person track that baby every
Mhm.
day for me so that I can
Mhm.
see if there's any problems to start out with.
Mhm.
And so then I will set them up again when we get done with the exercise. And usually that afternoon, when we take them out to groom them, set them up again. That's
Mhm.
3 times, three
Mhm.
times a day, short times. You may then, as it gets closer to the futurities, you're going to want to start practicing setting them up more, a little bit
Mhm.
longer periods of time.
Mhm.
When you get to the horse show, I like to like BHF, beautiful place to. That show pen is just great, with the light coming down through the skylights and everything. It's beautiful. I like to go in there with that baby and we walk those babies around the whole out, inside that pen. We just
Mhm.
walk them.
Mhm.
That day, if they're still a little fractious, I don't even try to set them up. I'll just take them back, put them in their stall. After they're kind of slowed down a little bit, put them
Mhm.
back in the stall, get them out a little later, take them in, walk them around again. Okay, now the buggers they're not after them so bad, so they're gonna be a little bit more cooperative. So then you go into the center, stop, just get them to stop, pet
Mhm.
them, let them settle in, maybe walk again, come back, then you can start setting them up.
Mhm.
And once they set up, I uh, I I won't be in there probably any longer than 5 to 10 minutes with
Mhm.
one in one position, and then I might move over to another spot. Then I may leave and come back maybe 2 hours later.
Mhm.
Bring them back in there, do it again. So I don't think you have to be in a. Don't try to make a baby stand there for an hour. You're going to get it so it's sour.
Mhm.
So I think you're better off doing short increments and getting them to know that word whoa.
Mhm. Mhm.
Get, and teaching a baby to set up is really not that hard. Um, you always walk the baby into its back right leg, so
Mhm.
that is planted, and then you move that left hind leg back and forth until it matches where you want it to be with
Mhm.
that right hind leg. Um, I'm if I just get that one day and I haven't even started on the front, but that's good. I leave it. And then the next day, they'll start doing that pretty good for you. Then you can go to your
Mhm.
front legs. But I don't
Mhm.
try to do like one back leg, one front leg. I get the back legs totally done
Mhm.
first,
Mhm.
and then before I even go to the front legs.
Mhm.
And I learn all these babies because they have been trimmed. We go back. I'd start trimming them 3, 4 weeks. So they already, you can go pick up every leg that you want on
Mm.
them.
Yeah.
You've already set that standard for being able to
Mhm.
do that.
Mhm.
And then it's a lot easier. Now, then you'll get that one baby that's a little crazy. And you go, oh no, what? Take a deep breath. Go, okay. Babies can feel your nervousness. I swear through that lead shank,
Uh-huh.
and they can feel it. And so you need to be really, really careful with that. That you're not too nervous because that baby gets nervous. He gets a little
Mhm.
fractious.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden you're going, you're losing it. And then you go, what do I do now? Take a deep breath, walk, walk them and walk them and walk them and walk them. Lots of walking. That's the main thing I suggest at the fraternities is a lot of hand walking
Uh-huh.
when you get inside that arena pen.
Uh-huh.
So person needs to make sure that they've looked at the schedule and get there the day before where they're going to get into the pen.
Mhm.
Don't just show up and go, oh, I got to get my baby in the pen. You better have done your homework.
So,
Then it makes things like
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can just imagine maybe that. I wonder if is there any correlation between the baby with charisma and the baby that is a handful? Because we're looking for
yeah.
charisma, right, in the show ring, but is that
Yeah.
also the one that's a little fractious?
Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, or the terminology on the muscle. Of
That
course,
right,
they'll be on the
right.
muscle if they're just on the verge of blowing up. But
Yeah.
if you know your baby and you've spent enough time with
Mm,
your baby,
yeah,
like at
yeah.
home, don't just set them up in the same place at home. Go
Mhm,
go for a walk, whether you own your own property or you
mhm,
board your horse
mhm,
or you have your horse with the trainer. Take it to more than just one spot to set it up all the time.
mhm, mhm,
Let it see something that's scary. Let them
mhm,
learn that you're the person, you're in charge. You've
mhm,
got to show them that you're in charge and you're not just somebody that's going to hurt them by any means, but yet you are the master. So
mhm,
they've got to learn to respect you.
mhm.
And if you set them up at a lot of different places and use that word whoa, when you say
Yeah.
whoa, that means whoa.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. So, if you are in the show pen and you have a blow up, your baby blows up in the pen during a class, what are some things that you suggest for somebody as far as handling that situation in the moment with the all eyes on you because judges are there, exhibitors are there,
Right.
you know, a lot of intensity. But what do you suggest in that moment when there's a blow up?
That is the hard thing because of the fact it just depends on how bad the blow up is. If it's
Mhm.
really bad, the ring man may come over there and may move you to a
Mhm.
different spot. I've seen
Mhm.
some babies, show backwards because they're
Mm.
afraid to at a certain spot. And some of
Sure.
these fraternities, I've seen them do that. I had one. How old's that Marina? She's just bred her, so she was a baby. She's 4. So at the BHF, I go in there. She's the oldest baby in the pen. So where does she go? The last
Mm.
horse in the pen. That last hole, and she was the only one in that very last line. She got in there, and of course, that's where people were going up the steps to go up. And
Mhm.
she looked at that side, and I went, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to?" She started sweating. She was just beyond
Mm.
herself.
Mhm.
And so I took a deep breath and I said to myself, "Forget what else is going on. It's
Mm.
just you and this baby right now, and you
Mhm.
need to get it under control."
Mhm.
So at that point in time, I took hold of it. And when I took hold, I went, okay, is this going to mean whoa now? And if it didn't, I take hold a little bit harder. And once it finally started to settle down, I just pat it on its neck and its shoulder.
Mhm.
Just like, okay. Most of the time it's because of they're frightened. Most
Mhm.
of the time. It's usually not because they want to be bad. It's just
Sure.
they're frightened.
Yeah.
But I was, and I remember that judge coming back there, one of the judges, he said, if you can just get all four legs to just stand still for a moment. And she was really good. I mean, this is a really good filly. She ended up winning the BHF, but she was just, and I was like, oh, now what do I do? So it happens to everybody.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
happens to trainers that have done this for a long time. It'll happen to people that think that their baby is just broke, 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 and they get there. But you have to then just take a big gulp, big sigh, go, okay, I know my baby. I know this is not this. We can handle this. Let's get it under
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
So most and occasionally I've seen people leave. I think
Mm.
some of them have left prematurely, and I think most of
Okay.
it's they're embarrassed. But don't be embarrassed by it. Like I say, it has happened
Happens.
to everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody. Any of the top professionals, it's happened to. So,
Yeah.
those of you that are listening that are amateurs doing this at home, it does happen to everybody. So, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah. That's really great wisdom. As people's foals are probably weaned by now, and there's probably barns across the U.S. where people are gearing up. So thank you for all this
Right.
helpful wisdom. Tell us about your most rewarding futurity moment so far.
Um, Probably futurity wise, of course, this wasn't with a baby, but it would be at the BHF
Mm-hmm.
being able to get the grand champion open mare with Park
Mm,
Avenue.
mm,
That was probably the most rewarding. Um,
yeah.
Baby wise, this wasn't even a futurity. The most rewarding was the World Show in
Uh-huh.
1999.
Uh-huh.
Most of you weren't even born. Um, in 1999, and I had a filly there, homebred filly. I think there were 50 something in the class. That's at the AQHA World Show.
Wow.
We don't have that anymore. And she won the class, and that was
Mm,
really rewarding because that was also, I'm a woman showman, and there
mm,
had not been a woman win the World Show in 17 years up until that point in the Open.
wow.
And so that was
That's very cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation we could have. The trajectory of women in our industry.
Yes.
That's fantastic. What a great story. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing.
Well, it's just
Mhm.
I'm saying it because I want people to
Yeah.
know that there is
Yeah.
hope for people. I don't want them to feel
Absolutely.
defeated. It's not that I'm trying to say, "Hey, I did this" or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm trying to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
there is hope. Don't ever feel downtrodden that you can't do this."
Mhm.
I want people to feel like they can. I mean, we all came from a beginning.
Mhm.
We all did, most of us did not have the silver spoon in our mouth. Most of
Mhm.
us have worked for this. Whether
Mhm.
you're an amateur or a youth or whatever, most of us have really had to work at it. And I just want everybody to feel that there's always a start somewhere
Mhm.
and don't ever give up.
Mhm. Mm. That's good. Thanks for the good shot in the arm for the folks across um, the globe potentially. We have listeners from Canada and Australia, all over the place, that are
Okay, great.
needing your wisdom and your cheerleading. So thank you. Um, where can we follow your journey? Is that a website or Facebook? What's the best way to follow your journey?
Probably my Facebook,
Okay.
Kathy Winslow Smallwood.
Okay.
But let's go right onto that, and that's the best place to. I try to keep up and do some posts every now and then on all the babies and the breeding and everything.
Well, thank you. I have some fun questions to ask you. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. And if anybody ever wants to get hold of me, just I'm happy to talk to anybody, to give them advice or be their cheerleader.
Well, thank you. I added some fun rapid fire questions for the end of our conversation.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite barn snack? When you're working with babies all day and you need a snack, what is it?
Water.
That's true. You're in Texas.
It's 110 degrees.
Yeah.
Water. No, actually, I like the breakfast bars. As a snack.
Okay. Breakfast bar and water.
Somewhat healthy, right?
Good. Yeah. What is the best halter baby name you've ever used, or maybe your favorite name that you gave?
I think I like the one Silk Pajamas. And when she was born, she looked like she had silk pajamas on. Her hair coat. She was born a little bit early, and a lot of those babies that are born early, their hair coats won't be fully developed. And I mean, she just had a shine to her. And I thought, I know what I'm going to name her, Silk Pajamas, because she looks like she's got silk pajamas on.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. What's one grooming tool you can't live without?
A towel.
I was going to say, I think we already know the answer to this one. It's a towel.
Yes.
Okay, next question. If one of your futurity babies, think about your babies for this year. If one of them had a celebrity personality, who would it be? Who's the celebrity that you can see out in your field right now?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah? Okay. We'll be looking for her.
Okay.
And last question. What's the first thing you do after a long show day? Do you celebrate, sleep, or start cleaning your halters?
We go out. We usually my clients and us, we like to go have a good dinner and just relax and just take some time to think about the day and have some fun.
Fantastic. I love it. Well, Kathy, thank you for what you've done for us. The mission of Fit for Halter is to bring practical content and community, and you've done both. You've let us know some very practical pieces for getting our babies ready, whether we're headed to the fall futurities or not. You've also introduced us to you, your farm, your people, your clients. We've just gotten to know you a little bit more. So thank you so much for what you've done for us today.
Well, thank you for having me. And like I say, I hope everybody is looking forward to the fall, whether they come with a baby, come watch. I mean, come watch one of the fraternities. There's several of them out there. We've got the one BHF, we've got the WCHA, we've got the Halter Millions, we've got the East Coast Halter Fraternity. Michigan has a Halter Fraternity. Iowa has another Halter Fraternity. There's several of them still out there. So if you're a halter enthusiast, please feel free to come and mingle and get to know everybody. We need the halter industry to keep surviving and growing, and I think it is. There's a lot of new people out there, so that's
I would
very
agree.
encouraging.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.